Hold up. But them jogger pants though. Hey, what's going on, everybody of YouTube? kenandrewdaily here. I know it's been a minute since I put out a video, but today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make jogger pants from scratch. So here's a prototype jogger pants that I did for practice. Basically, I'm going to show you guys how to make the eyelets so you can put shoelaces in the waist area so you can tie up your waist. And then I'm going to show you guys how to make the drop crotch area with custom fabric. I don't know if this has been done yet, but I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the custom fabric in the crotch area. And then I'll be showing you guys how to just make the overall pants itself. And then at the end, you have a choice of either doing elastic cuffs or you can do ribbed cuffs. But putting all that aside, let's just get straight into the tutorial. Now there's a bunch of things that you're going to need for this tutorial. Starting off with the tools, you're going to need your pair of scissors and a rotary cutter. You're going to need a seam ripper and a thread cutter. Next, you're going to need a eyelet tool set. You're going to need a bunch of pins, so go grab some. Next, you're going to need a mallet or hammer. You're going to need a knitting needle. This is what we're going to be using to make perfect holes for our eyelets. For the materials, you're going to need some shoelaces. Next, you're going to need some zippers to close your pockets. You're going to need some eyelets. And then you're going to need the fabric that you want to use as the pant material, the pockets, and the crotch area. You can use pleather, leather, whatever you want to use. Any type of fabric is fine for this tutorial. The last thing you're going to need is just your regular pair of pants, skinny jeans, straight jeans, whatever you want. And that's everything you're going to need for the tutorial. First thing we're going to do is cut out the pants material. So grab the material that you want to use as the pants and double up on your fabric. Now grab the pants that you want to use as a template. And then you want to start cutting a 1 to 2 inch allowance around your pants. Don't worry about it being too big of an outline. It gets canceled out later once we start sewing pieces together. But once you finish your first piece, you can actually use that piece as a template to cut out your second piece. So just flip it over exactly how I do it and then cut exactly the same size as the template you just used. Always take your time when you're cutting because you don't want to end up with some jagged looking things or something too small or too big. Once you're done with all your cutting, you should end up with 4 pieces. So here is the right side, here's the front and back piece, and then here is the left side, the front and the back piece. Next, you want to turn your fabric inside out and start pinning on the side that doesn't have a curve, because we're going to be getting this prep to be sewn together. So this is what it should look like when it's all pinned. Then you want to take it to your sewing machine and do a zigzag stitch or an overlock if you have an overlock stitch over the pinned area. Since this isn't a straight stitch, you do not have to back stitch this. After you finish sewing both sides, it should look something like this. Next, we're going to be making the zippered pocket. So grab the material that you want to use as the pocket and then grab the zipper that you want to use to close the pocket. And then on each side, you want to leave a 1 inch allowance. This is because we're going to be folding the sides in to secure the pocket. So make sure to measure that out and then you want to cut out the fabric. Once you're done with all the cutting, it should look something like this. Next, we're going to pin the fabric right onto the top and bottom of the zipper. So you want to open up your zipper first. There's a diagram in the bottom left of the screen, so if you need some reference to look at, there you go. But first, we're going to be doing the top zipper. So you want to have the fabric faced up, and then you want to start pinning the zipper or fabric to the zipper. Once you're done pinning the top part of the zipper, it should look something like this. If it doesn't, go back and redo the top part. Now that you finished the top part, next you want to grab the other piece and pin that to the bottom part of the zipper. Again, take your time because it is actually kind of hard to do it. And you want to keep it as straight as possible because if it's not straight, you might miss it and you will end up with some problems, and you don't want to end up with no problems, right? So just take your time on it, and once you're done with all the pinning, you should be able to zip it up and it will start to look like a pocket. Now if your pocket does not look like mine right now or function the same way as mine does right now, you want to go back and redo this because you have to have it exactly like how I do. Otherwise it's just going to end up as a funky pocket. Next you want to take your pocket to the sewing machine and just straight stitch along the pinned area. Now take your time on this, and I recommend to get a zipper foot because they're very narrow and the place that we have to work with is very narrow, so it just goes hand in hand to use a zipper foot. Once you finish sewing, make sure to give some tugs to make sure there's no loose threads or anything like that. Next we're going to figure out where we want to put the pocket, so turn your pants right side up, grab one of the pieces or the piece that you want to put the pocket on. So if you're confused on where the front side of the pants is and the back side, if the curve is facing inwards, that is the front side. If the curve is facing outwards, that is the back side. So in this case, I'm going to be putting the pocket on the front side of the pants, so the curve is facing inwards. Now, when you want to position your pocket, make sure you're only going through the top or front part of the pants. Remember that this used to be two pieces that we sewn together. Now you want to start pinning the pocket into place once you figure out the position or the place that you want to put the pocket. So grab your pins and then start pinning into place. Like I said earlier, I'm only pinning onto the top part of the pants piece. So when you open it, it's only on the top part. Once you got your pocket in place, turn your pants piece inside out once again, and then you want to grab something that you can mark a line with. Now I'm going to be using a pen. The place I'm making the marking is obviously the inside of the pants, so it doesn't matter if the marking is huge or whatever. But what I'm doing right now is I'm finding the zipper, where the exact location of the zipper. So I'm writing along the zipper, because this is where we're going to be making the slits or cut with our rotary cutter. So you want to make it as accurate as possible. Notice that I'm taking my sweet time with this because I want to make sure that the cut or line is as accurate as possible. But once you finish your line, you can take out the pocket from the front side of the pants piece because we don't want to accidentally cut that with our rotary cutter. So be sure to remove that first and then grab your rotary cutter, or if you don't have a rotary cutter, just get your pair of scissors and very carefully cut the line. You gotta be precise. You can't undercut or overcut because when you apply zippers, they have to be the exact amount. Next, we're going to be folding in the raw edges to prevent fraying and to have a nice consistent look on our pants, so it looks a little bit more professional. So you want to start with the bottom and then you want to finish up top. Once you're done with all the pinning, it should look something like this, and it should stay in place when you remove the pins. Now you want to take your pants piece, turn it over, and grab your pocket. Now your pocket has to be unlocked. It can't be locked at all. When it means locked, is zipped up. So once you got it unlocked, you want to put it onto the back side exactly how I do it, and you want to line up the end of the zipper to the end of the slit. Do this on the right and left side of the slit and the zipper. So as you try to align it to the slit, you want to pin down the bottom part of the zipper to the slit. This may seem confusing at first, but make sure to watch this clip a couple of times. You'll eventually understand what is going on. Maybe when you do it yourself, it'll make more sense. But what is going on right now is I'm pinning through the zipper itself and the folded in raw edges. So it's like a double whammy, it's a double dip, because you're folding in the raw edges at the same time you're attaching the zipper onto the pants piece. I know that was a lot to kind of inhale or intake, but just kind of watch this clip a couple of times. It will click, I am telling you. But once you finish one side, remember to do the other side. It just makes sewing a lot easier. Once you're done with all the pinning, go ahead and try out the zipper. If it works, it's good. If it doesn't work, you might need to go back and repin. Next, you want to take your pants piece to the sewing machine so you can sew on the pocket. Now you want to take this very slow because you can accidentally sew the pocket pieces together or sew something that you don't want to be sewn. So take your time. Since you're sewing with a straight stitch, remember to start and end with a back stitch. Next, we're going to be sewing the pocket shut on all sides so we can actually use the pocket. So grab your pins and then start folding in about 1 inch on every single side. Take your time with the pinning because the pinning is everything. I've always emphasized this in my videos. So just take your time with the pinning. It should look something like this when you're done. Then you want to take it to your sewing machine and do an overlock or zigzag stitch along all the sides that we just pinned. Take your time because you don't want stuff to fall out of your pocket, so make sure that everything is nice and secure after you finish sewing the pocket. After you've sewn all the pockets that you want to put on the pants, you want to turn your pants inside out and in this position because we're going to be sewing the top part of the inner part of the pants. Now that was very confusing the way that I said that, but that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now. So you want to separate the front and the back pieces and start sewing the front pieces together. Now we're only going to start from the crotch area up. We're not going to do all the way down the pants, and there's a reason why. And I'll explain that later. But once you finish the front side pieces or pin those front pieces together, be sure to go ahead and do the back pieces as well. After you finish all the pinning, go to your sewing machine and just do an overlock / zigzag stitch along the pinned areas that we just did. Again, take your time, and we're only going to the crotch areas. That's where we're going to be ending. We're not going to go all the way down the leg. Next, we're going to be cutting a half circle around the crotch area. This is what gives it that drop crotch look. So there's no actual measurements to doing the half circle. I kind of just freeball it every single time. With the cut piece, you want to use that as a template to cut out the new drop crotch area. So grab the piece, use that as a template, and you want to have a 2-inch allowance around the template because we're trying to make a deeper drop for the drop crotch. So make it 2-inch from the actual piece. Then you can use the first piece to cut out your second piece. Next, we're going to be pinning the fabric that we just cut onto the pants. So have the pants right side up and the fabric face down. Now you want to go grab your pins and use the diagram in the top left of the screen to kind of have as a reference when you're pinning the fabric onto the pants, because it's very hard to sew a curve onto a straight edge. It is, I know, I've done it myself, but it just takes time and just practice. So here's the first side finished. Remember, you still need to do this for the other side, so just repeat the same process. After all the pinning, just take it to your sewing machine and just zigzag stitch the 2 pieces of fabric back onto the pants. Next, we're going to be pinning the inner part of the pants finally. So grab your pins, turn your pants inside out, and to start pinning along the inner side of the pants. So the inner leg area, the crotch area, make sure when you do the crotch area that the fabric that we just sewn on match up perfectly. Then you want to take it to your sewing machine again, do an overlock / zigzag stitch. Take your time so it looks as clean as possible. Next, we're going to be hemming the waist area. So have your pants inside out and start folding in from the top 2 inches in. And then you want to grab your pins and start pinning the folded in area. After you're done pinning, turn the pants right side up. Now we're going to be making markings on where we're going to be applying the eyelets. So grab your eyelets and kind of eyeball where you want to put them. After you figure out where you want to put them, you want to go grab a pen or any type of marking and mark where you're going to be creating the hole. You want to be precise on this because if your holes look funky, it's just going to look funky overall. But once you figure out where you want to put it, turn your pants inside out again, and where you made the holes earlier, you want to remove the pins that are folding it in, because we want it to be folded out, because we're going to be creating a hole and we don't want to create a hole through both layers. So that's why we're removing the pins. But once you remove the pins of just that area, you want to now make a hole in the markings that we made earlier. So grab a pair of scissors or anything that's sharp and just make a really small hole. Don't make it too big, because it's just gonna end up ripping up your pants and you don't want that to happen. So just make a small hole, just small enough so you can take your knitting needle and start making a circle in it. The reason why we're using this knitting needle is because it's like a perfect circle maker for some reason. But yeah, once you got both holes finished, make sure the eyelets fit. After all that, you want to insert the eyelet from the right side of the pants, so the inside of the pants will have the wrong side of the eyelet. Now you want to get your eyelet tool set. It should be 2 pieces, one with a long rod and the other one's like an anvil almost looking thing. Here's the anvil looking thing, or the bottom piece that I should be calling it. That's the bottom piece, which we're going to be putting the right side of the eyelet onto, and the wrong side will be facing up, and that's where the top piece of the set will be going. So here's the top piece. You put it right on top of the eyelet, and you want to grab your mallet. What you do with the mallet is you want to pound down on the eyelet, because the eyelet is kind of sitting up, and with the mallet it's pounding it down, so it locks the eyelet in place, and that's what you want. And then you want to repeat this for the other side, and it should look like this when you're done. After applying the eyelets, you want to grab the shoelace that you want to put inside the waistband. And since we left the waistband unstitched and just pinned, we can basically put the string right through the waist without doing the whole paper clip method, where you take a paper clip and you hook it onto the shoelace and then you got to wrap that all the way around. It's really annoying and it's hard, and I find this way to be a little bit easier, because you just need to guide the shoelace all the way around the hem that we made. It's really simple and it shouldn't take you that long to do, since this hem is open. But once you reach the other side, you want to put the end through the eyelet. Once you got the shoelace all the way around the waist area and through the eyelets, you just want to close the hem that we made earlier. Take your time, start and end with a back stitch as always. Now with the cuff, you can go either way, elastic or ribbed. You can click on either one of these pictures, it'll take you to that tutorial. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to pick what cuff you would like. So if you're on mobile, the links will be in the video description. But anyways guys, that's the tutorial. Here's the 2 different pants that I made with 2 different cuffs. Tell me which one you guys like more, or which one has the better look. But anyways guys, hope you guys liked the tutorial. Worked pretty hard on it. I hope to see you guys soon. Love you guys. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.